birth and pregnancy is a gift, right? It's a good thing. It's not a it's not a it's not a burden, right? Like it's not a in the thing inside. It's not a pregnancy. They try to throw these terms. It's not a pregnancy. The pregnancy describes what's happening, but the actual thing inside is a person, is a unique human being with a unique set of DNA. What's up, guys? Welcome to Let It Be Heard, where we are doers of the word, not hearers only. I'm your host, Jaden Heard, and today we're going to be talking about abortion in the case of a 9-year-old, and maybe some exceptions, and I don't know. We'll get all into it. Check it out.
When your grandchildren got pregnant, would you want them to be forced to have a baby? Despite their age? What if they were 12? What if they were 11? What if they were 9? Do you still think they should be forced to have that child? Seriously. You think children that can't even adopt because they're children themselves should be forced to have babies? Really, you do? You think children should be forced to give birth if they become pregnant?
Nobody's forcing them.
By taking away their access to abortion, it's forced, Anne, and you know that. You really think that they should have to give birth?
Yes.
If you have a 9-year-old granddaughter that gets pregnant by
You don't know what I have.
if you have a
You
9-year-old
don't have a
granddaughter
clue
that
what
gets
I thought.
pregnant by, you would want her to have that child.
Okay, so it's every time, by the way, you talk to a pro-abortion person, they always bring up these hypotheticals, these radical hypotheticals of, oh, what if the child was 2 years old? I'm just like, what are you talking about? These 9-year-old kids getting pregnant, all of this. There's just 9-year-old babies, people getting pregnant every day, and it's just, oh, it's something that we got to worry about. It's this crisis. And then they'll ask, oh, well, do you think we should force this person against their will to have a child? But what's interesting is they have this huge issue with consent. They have this huge issue with forcing people, yet they don't mind forcing their will on an unborn baby via abortion. See, what they're exactly against is what they're supporting. They're against going against someone's body and taking advantage of that person for their own benefit without that person's consent. And that's exactly what happens in an abortion. I love this this talking point where they bring up the rape as well. They'll bring up, well, it's wrong to force someone who got raped to have an abortion. And we're going to talk about how we should phrase that, how the proper language of that, how it actually should be phrased in a second. But what's interesting is that, again, they're so against rape, and you ask them why is rape wrong, right? And obviously, we all here at RSBN, I believe, Students for Life believes that rape is wrong, obviously. But why is rape wrong? Well, when you ask these people this question, they'll say, oh, well, there's a few things happening in this case. Well, first of all, you're using someone else's body against their consent. You're violating their body. You're possibly harming them, right? You're physically hurting them, and you're traumatizing them, right? And then you realize, like, this person just described an abortion. The same reason why we were against rape is the same reason why we're against abortion. Except in an abortion, someone's life is being ended, and babies' body parts are being dismantled and being forced off of them. But in a rape, it's violating the body, right? And it's the exact same thing. So I just wanted to get that out of the way first of all. She's so focused on forcing people, when she supports forcing people to be dismantled and be dismembered against their will. You know, we believe that babies are people, that babies are not just living human beings, but that they're people. They have a soul. They have a purpose. They're made in God's image. And we need to make that clear off the bat. Another thing, too, is these hypotheticals of how these 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds, they always run to these, just like they run to rape, which is like the 0.1% of abortions. And do these happen? Absolutely. But this is the stance. This is the response that we should always give. It is never okay to kill an innocent human being. It is never okay to kill an innocent human being. what happened to that hypothetical 9-year-old is tragic. Again, this is hypothetical. It doesn't really happen ever. But abortion for this if a 9-year-old were to get, I guess, raped or something like that, it most likely is happening with a family member, or B, via sex trafficking. We can talk about this on another video, how abortion funds the sex trafficking industry and how it essentially helps it out. It's a great way for sex traffickers to get away with crimes, and it's also a great way for family members to get away with sex crimes as well. We're giving them a way out. You know, that baby is the evidence that this 9-year-old got violated, right? And we're taking that away, you know, not completely. Obviously, there's other ways to find out that someone's been raped and all that, but don't we want the rapist to be punished, not the baby, right? And also, it is proven, again, if we care about these 9-year-old, again, I'm using their little example. This really doesn't happen, very rarely. But if this were to happen, do we not want to care about the 9-year-old, right? Well, if we do want to care about the 9-year-old, well, there's studies out that if the child is aborted after the mother is raped, that her trauma is worse than if she would have had the baby, right? So again, if we care about these people and we want the actual best solutions for their mental health, if we actually want to care for these people, then we should be advocating for people having the baby. And whether or not you keep the baby afterwards is up to you. Obviously, there's adoption. There's more people wanting to adopt than there are people in the foster care system. And this is something that we need to talk about, right? There's also pregnancy resource centers that outnumber Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics, I think more than 3 to 1. I'm sure we can find the statistics on that soon. But obviously, we care about mothers. We have so many pregnancy resource centers. This isn't a thing where we're just forcing women not to have, forcing women to have children. And this is the right way to phrase it. It's caring for both the baby and the mother, right? It's not forcing a woman against her will to go through 9 months of torment. No, birth and pregnancy is a gift, right? It's a good thing. It's not a burden, right? Like it's not a in the thing inside. It's not a pregnancy. They try to throw these terms. It's not a pregnancy. The pregnancy describes what's happening, but the actual thing inside is a person, is a unique human being with a unique set of DNA. And so we need to recognize that as pro-lifers and people who want to abolish abortion, that the way they phrase it on the other side, we need to get rid of that. And we need to put the truth out there. Speaking of people trying to twist things, let's talk about how big tech media and companies are taking away our free speech rights by trying to twist a narrative by making us the bad guys. Have you guys even noticed the precedent that's being set by these big tech companies? Well, we here at RSBN are very aware that they're silencing conservatives and they're stealing our data. Well, this is why we highly recommend ExpressVPN. Ever wondered how free to access tech giants like Facebook, Twitter, or X now, Instagram, YouTube make all their money? Well, they do this by tracking your searches, and they track your video history and everything you click on by building a profile on you and then selling off all of your sensitive data. Now, when you use the ExpressVPN app on your computer or your phone, you anonymize much of your online presence by hiding your IP address. This makes your activity much more difficult to trace and sell to advertisers. What's more is that ExpressVPN encrypts 100% of your network data to protect you from eavesdroppers and cyber criminals. Now, what I like most about it is how easy it is to use. Look, it just takes one click to protect all of your devices, and that's why ExpressVPN is rated #1 by Tech Radar. So let's stop allowing big tech companies to twist the narrative, silence us on these social media platforms, and steal all of our data. And let's fight back by going to expressvpn.com/RSBN for 3 months free of an annual subscription. Again, that is expressvpn.com/RSBN. You click on that link, you get 3 months free. Now, back to the video. And the lady, I didn't really understand her method at the beginning. I mean, I'm not criticizing people. You know, maybe being silent is not always the worst idea. You know, just letting people get it out, you know, letting people talk. But I guess the lady was kind of stumbled. I don't think she really knew what to say. And this is why we have really good organizations like Students for Life. This is why we have really good organizations like Baby Steps and LiveAction.org, because these people are able to show you the good talking points, to show you pro-life apologetics. That's mainly where I get it from. And so I've learned a lot from people like Kristen Hawkins and people who have really good talking points like this. Michael Knowles is pretty good on the pro-life issue as well. And so I highly recommend for you guys might end up in a situation where you're talking to somebody who's pro-choice. Make sure you know your facts. Make sure you guys are studying up. Make sure you guys are researched up on this stuff, because these are just really good little nuggets to know, to have in the back of your mind, to pull them out and say, well, what about this? Have we considered this? What about this? And slowly you start to see the person on the other side who's uniquely made an image of God, who isn't just some bag of cells like they would say they are. You see them change their mind. You see the God in them kind of manifesting that they're starting to recognize that there's truth, that there's dignity in human life. I see it all the time. I saw it at the March for Life. I saw it at the Supreme Court when Roe v. Wade was overturned, where people's minds were changed. Some people's hearts were hardened, but some people really do have an open mind. They just don't understand the full details. So once you show that to them, then they'll change their mind. And that's really important. We need to change their mind and change their hearts with the gospel. That's really important. As far as this lady, again, being so angry with this lady and saying, well, what about this 9-year-old? Again, these hypotheticals are just used as propaganda to keep us from the real issue. The real issue here is that we are saying it's okay to kill a group of humans purely based on whatever, based on their size, based on their age, based on sometimes their race. There's many eugenicists that supported abortion throughout history. The founder of Planned Parenthood, Adolf Hitler. And so this is a real issue. That's the real issue. The real issue is not that women are being forced to have children, but it is something that we should care about the women who are being fed lies about this and saying, oh, it's not a big deal. You should care about your future. You should care about your money, your finances. No, we do not want to sacrifice our children on the altar of career. We want to sacrifice ourselves, our career, for the lives of our own children, right? That is the greatest duty of not only woman, but man. And that is our first ministry, is our children, our family, right? So, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that this exhorted you to go maybe look into some pro-life apologetics. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. God bless. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And be sure to hit that follow button and that join button. It'll take you over to our locals channel where you can further support the show and get access to additional content. God bless.